Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few months, you'll probably know that the Chevrolet Volt range extended electric car, now in its 9th year of production and second incarnation, at least for North America, has been officially given its death date by General Motors. On one of several GM models whose axing has been announced in the past few weeks, the Volt and the various other internal combustion engine model cars that GM is cancelling were announced as cancelled because the company is currently slashing its vehicle production costs in order to prepare itself for a world of fully electric and autonomous vehicles. And it's doing that by cancelling models it doesn't think it was making enough money on. The other cars on the chopping block, all sedans and hatchbacks, reiterate the general automotive trend towards large pickup trucks and SUVs. And it's the same as it is for other automakers. Those vehicles are the ones which make GM money. The Volt, well, despite reasonable sales in some areas, the Volt's plug-in hybrid drivetrain isn't where GM wants to go long-term. Instead, it wants to promote all-electric vehicles. And while the Volt was popular in California, in some upper-income markets where traditionally Chevrolet wouldn't be found, the Bolt EV, its all-electric long-range model, and the Tesla Model 3 are slowly taking over. So the Volt, with its complicated gasoline-electric drivetrain, is being killed come April next year. In its place, GM promises a slew of all-new electric models, including an all-new electric SUV, as well as increased Bolt EV production. To be honest, it's hardly surprising. Let's face it, in the markets where the Volt was popular, range anxiety is generally a thing of the past, thanks to pretty extensive rapid charger provision. And so the Bolt EV, while more expensive than the Volt, may offer a more appealing alternative for those wanting to switch to a plug-in vehicle, thanks to the EPA-approved 238 miles of range per charge. That's all fantastic, and here's hoping GM follows through on its promises. But since the announcement, I've had many of you get in touch and ask the following question, or variant of: with the Volt on its way out, is it still a good buy? If you're in the US market where electric dominates, like California, the Pacific Northwest, or perhaps parts of the Northeast, the Volt may be less of a good buy than it is elsewhere, as gas prices traditionally tend to be higher and there's plenty of rapid charging infrastructure along major routes between major cities. For example, it's no problem to travel from Seattle to Portland in a Bolt because there are plenty of recharging stops along the way, and thanks to that court-mandated program from Electrify America, there are even more coming. In these cases, I generally advise you to go for a long-range EV like the Bolt EV, Hyundai Kona Electric, Model 3, etc., etc. But if you're in a market where electric vehicle charging infrastructure is less hot and/or you happen to have a long drive between you and the next major city, well, then a GM Chevy Volt could be a great deal. Aside from the obvious perks of getting an end-of-production vehicle like dealerships wanting to heavily discount the car in order to get it off their lot, the Volt is still a great transitional vehicle. It offers 53 miles, 85 kilometres of all-electric range in ideal situations, and, unlike some of its plug-in hybrid competitors, it doesn't turn the gasoline engine on unless it's really cold outside, the engine hasn't been used for a long time, and thus the car needs to cycle fuel to keep itself healthy for a few minutes, you're hammering the car full throttle at above legal speeds up an impossibly steep hill, or you've overridden electric-only mode. Usually, even under full acceleration, it'll stay in electric mode until the battery is empty. It also seats 5, something the Prius Prime does not, and it offers a robust, engaging drive. It's less nerdy than the Gen 1 predecessor, and for a family wanting to commute to work and school on electric mode during the week, then make the occasional long-distance trip at weekends, it's got everything you need. And as I've already said, it doesn't switch on the engine under heavy acceleration in most situations, something that isn't always true for the Honda Clarity plug-in hybrid or Prius Prime. And to maximise range, even if you're only able to charge from a domestic wired-in charging station at your house, the 2019 Volts come with an optional 7-kilowatt onboard charger. This means they'll charge at twice the average speed of the early 2016 through 2018 Volts, which in turn should mean more miles in electric mode, even if you're just running different errands all day. As for service and parts, well, because GM is looking to bring other electric models to market, you should be able to get your car serviced without any issue, as long as your dealership is continuing to sell and service plug-in models. Of some description, that is. Additionally, GM, like other automakers, will keep parts and spares for end-of-production vehicles for many, many years. Are there any downsides? Well, there may be. For those buying in the US after the end of this year, the chances are you won't be able to make use of the full federal tax rebate for electric vehicles, since GM has likely passed the 200,000th vehicle threshold at which tax incentives roll back. Since this time of year is never great for dealerships, however, you may be able to get a car before the end of the year, still get a good deal, and still make that tax credit in time. Finally, there's the option to go used. With the Volt coming out of production, you may see Volt prices start to drop, especially as more and more people swap them for Model 3s or other all-electric models. With plenty of years of production and hopefully all the kinks ironed out, I think the Volt can still be a great choice as a first plug-in car. I'd love to know if you agree. That's it. Don't forget to give us your thumbs up or your thumbs down, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell below. Thanks as always to our Patreon supporters. You all rock. And if you want to join the Patreon crew, you can do so by going to patreon.com/transport evolved. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep evolving.